everyone, I'm back with another haul today. And as you can see, I got a lot of books in the mail, and all of these books arrived within like 4 days of each other. So I had several packages from Books A Million come in, as well as a couple secondhand purchases I made, an order from Yiggy Bean, and then some shopping in person that I did when I was in the city. If you've already seen my thumbnail for this video, then you can see that I have something really exciting from Attack on Titan that I got in the mail this week, and I'm really excited to unbox it. But overall, I have almost entirely manga with one manga fan book, 4 volumes of Danmei, and then this special release that I'll be getting into at the end of the video. As usual, I will have timestamps below, so feel free to use those to jump around to watch whatever interests you. But I'm going to get right into it. The first series that I got, I'm so excited to have these, A Man and His Cat. So I picked up most of these secondhand, and I have more on the way. I skipped volume 5 because most of the listings only had the volume 5 that didn't have the number marked on it. So I'm planning to buy volume number 5 in person so that I can make sure that it aligns with the numbers on the other volumes. But that was just a misprint from Square Enix that they forgot to include it on the spine for that volume release. But the reprints do have the number on them. So I'll just show the volume covers for each volume. So as the title implies, this series follows a man and the cat that he adopts. I've known about this series for a while, and I was not really inclined to read it because I thought the cat was ugly, which is the point. That is a part of the plot. But I just didn't really feel inclined to read it. But recently I saw that it was available in my library system. So I went ahead and put a hold on the volumes, and they were sent to my local library. And I finally read it. And I really liked it. So I really love the old man, and his cat is very sweet. The story actually revolves around the main character trying to find things in his life that can bring him joy after losing his wife. As you can probably see from some of the covers, there is a lot of content in this series about music. The main character used to be a concert pianist, and at the start of volume 1, we see that he's working at a music school teaching kids how to play piano. But there are a few other bits of music in this series apart from piano. There is a character who plays rock music. There are several pianists. And while I am not musical at all and I don't play any instruments, my husband plays piano, and I love listening to classical music, so that really, really appealed to me. But I just found the story really heartwarming. While there are a lot of really cute, bonding moments between pet owner and pet, I also really like all the side characters in this series and how they interact with each other. And I was really surprised how moving the series was. I cried through several of the volumes because even though there are all these cute and sweet moments, it really is also a story of this man's grieving and healing after losing his wife and just trying to recover and have the will to continue. But my library didn't have the latest volumes. I think this series has released through volume 12 or 13, so I have a few volumes I need to catch up once I get those in the mail. But for now, I have through volume 10, excluding volume 5, and I already have the rest of the volumes I'm missing on the way, and then the next one pre-ordered. But I'm really glad that I gave it a try, and I just really loved it. And as soon as before I even finished reading the library copies that I had checked out, I was already looking at listings and planning to pick up this series. So just like I'm a big fan of manga that has to do with sports, I'm also a big fan of manga that has to do with music. So excited to read more of this story as I get the next volumes in, and happy to have this one now. The next one that I got was volume 13 of A Condition Called Love. So I'm a little behind on this release. I think I had collected through volume 10, and then I forgot to pre-order the next several volumes. And then I wanted to wait to pick up more of the volumes because since I missed the pre-order, I wanted to wait for a good sale. So there were recently some sales from Books A Million, and I ordered the volumes I was missing, but they didn't have volume 13 on sale, so I picked this one up when I was in the city. So pretty soon I'll be all caught up on the volumes of A Condition Called Love, and I am so sad that the series is ending. I can't remember what volume release the series is at in Japan. I think volume 17 has released, and I believe the final chapter of the manga, the finale, is going to be serializing in the final issue that it's going to be released in. And I expect that that means it's going to be volume 18, and that will be the final volume. So we're almost there. I don't remember if 13 is the latest release or if 14 has released yet, but I really love this series. This male lead, he is one of my favorite shoujo male leads. He is such a sweetheart. He has some yandere characteristics, but he loves really hard. So he's just trying his hardest to be a good partner, and I love him for that. But really excited to see how the series wraps up. The next series that I picked up were volumes 1 and 2 of Sheltering Eaves. And this is one that I have been reading digitally, so I have read through volume 3. I'm so excited for volume 4 as volume 3 ended with a cliffhanger. But I have been wanting to pick this series up, but I wanted to wait until the first couple volumes released so I could look at them in store because, to be honest, I'm super frustrated with Kodansha that they can never release their series with all of the volumes being the same height, and I just wanted to see what they would look like. But I had to pick them up because I really enjoy this series, but I really want to support this mangaka's series releasing in English. This is the same mangaka that did Perfect World, which is a series I love. And then Sheltering Eaves is another of her series, and it follows these two kids who are childhood friends that were raised together in the same orphanage. I thought from the premise, and when I started reading this series, that the whole series was basically going to be them as teenagers, flashing back to when they were kids, but then just following them like in high school. But by the end of volume 3, they're already adults. So I'm so excited to see how the story continues with them as adults. Only being 3 volumes so far, it's just been super dramatic, super emotional. I'm so invested in their relationship and their future. And I'm really happy we got another series by this mangaka, and I hope we'll get some more as well. But I only picked up volumes 1 and 2 because the volume 3 that was in store had like a cut on the spine. Actually, one of the volumes 2 did as well, like as if they had been in the box. And when they opened the box, they just cut it open and sliced through the spine. So I found a good copy of volume 1 and volume 2, and I guess I'll just probably order volume 3 and volume 4. I just had wanted to wait and check them out in person before I started collecting the physicals. But really enjoying that series, and definitely recommend it if you were a fan of Perfect World. Just a lot of the similar type of, not drama, well, drama, yes, but also just how emotionally moving it is and how the characters are written. So looking forward to continuing that one. The next series is Witch Hat Atelier, volumes 2 and 4. So my last several haul videos, I've just been getting these trickling in So now that I have these two, let me see. Yeah, so I have volumes 1 to 6 now, as well as volume 9 and volume 13. And I don't have any more on the way yet. I have volume 14 pre-ordered, but for volumes 7 to 12, I don't have those volumes ordered because they all have the little banner that hangs down that covers part of the cover illustration. And that really annoys me, and I don't want to have the volumes that have those on the cover. I did get volume 9 because I was able to find a copy that didn't have the banner, though this is one that usually has the banner. So for the other volumes, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12, I think I'm just gonna try to find them in person whenever I go to bookstores, or if there are any secondhand listings that I see that, like from photos, that they don't have the banner. And even if it takes a while to complete the series, I will be really satisfied doing it that way so that they can all be really aesthetically pleasing. And I was just looking at the back page. I don't think this is a second print. I think this is a first print. So I don't know why some of them have it. I'll have to look next time I'm in the store and see what the back reveals. But I hope that the other ones have versions that, I was thinking maybe the first print had it and then the reprints didn't, or vice versa, but I don't really know. But I got these 2 volumes in. This is my favorite of the 4 girls. She's a little sweetheart. Well, they're all little sweethearts, but she's my favorite of them. But both my husband and I have already read this series and caught up. We read this one again from our library, had all the volumes. So we've been trying to read as much as we can from our library system because we want the statistics to show that people in the area are reading manga so that they will keep picking up new series and continuing with ongoing series. So after reading it, though, we wanted to collect it. So here we are. And then a new series that I'm adding to my collection with this volume is My New Boss is Goofy, Volume 1. I did recently watch the anime and I loved it. It is so funny. The humor in it is just right up my alley. So the series follows this guy, a salaryman who, from the first chapter, is just starting out at a new company after leaving his former company because of power harassment. As a result, he's really sensitive. He has stomach issues because of the anxiety and the stress that he was under, and fears that he will experience the same type of power harassment at his new company. But his new boss is Goofy. So his new boss is just a really sweet guy, but he's a little ditzy and is constantly just doing like little silly things because of misunderstanding. And it just puts him at ease so much that he is not just an overbearing boss, but he just works hard and is actually a really good mentor as well. I also really like the boss's little cat. Oh, I thought he would have a picture. The boss's little cat is so cute too. He's a little tsundere cat. But I'll flip through since this is volume 1. I forgot with some of the other series to flip through and show the art style, but oh well, sorry about that. But yeah, he is on his way for his first day of work and just does not feel good because of his anxiety from his previous workplace. But he's so cute. But I'm excited to read more into this story. I actually years ago had read some of the translations of this series before it was picked up. But like this is an example. They're on the sidewalk and he's like, oh, look, a cat. And is trying to like encourage him, let's go pet the cat. And then he goes and is like, oh, it was a tree, not a cat. Just little silly things. But it does feel a little episodic reading it, though there is an underlying plot that just as the story goes, it continues. But it is predominantly set in the workplace, at their office, as well as following some of the things they do when they're at home, like him adopting this cute little kitty. But excited to have this one and really looking forward to getting to some new content that I haven't read yet. And hopefully volume 3 will be past where the anime covered, but looking forward to it. And then next is this one-shot that Tokyo Pop picked up called Bergamot and Sunny Day. I really enjoyed this one when I read it. It follows a guy who works at a cafe who is not really a great judge of character in people. So as a result, he has been in a lot of bad relationships and he just really wants to have a romance, but keeps choosing the wrong people. But he meets this man who is a cafe owner. I can't remember if he's the owner of the cafe that he works at or if it's like a neighboring one. He might be the owner of the cafe that he works at. But early in the series, he consoles him and then they kind of get into a casual relationship with each other, despite him catching feels and worrying that it's going to end just like his other relationships have. But I enjoyed this one. It did feel kind of fast-paced because all of this is happening just in one volume from start to finish. But more so than the romance in this one, what really appealed to me in this one was the foodie elements. They work at a cafe. He's the employee, he's the owner. But there is a lot of talk about like tea and coffee and food items on the menu, cooking at home, and just really appreciating good food. So this is definitely going to be part of my foodie collection on my shelf in my collection. And glad that I read this one because, I don't know, sometimes with one-shots like that Tokyo Pop picks up, they just will go under the radar and I just won't even know about them until like they've already been out for years. And then I'm just like, oh, I didn't know. But this one's just a one-shot. It's really cute, romantic, foodie elements, and I really enjoyed it. Next is a fan book that I just got in the mail, and I was so excited that I found out about it because I don't remember if I've read 1 or 2 of this mangaka series, but I didn't know they had a fan book. So when I made my order of Danmei from Yugi Bean, I was close to hitting free shipping, and I was just like scouring the website to find something to add to the cart that would help me hit the free shipping threshold. And this was in the shop, it was in stock, so I was really glad to not only find out about it, but then add it to my collection with that order. But it's a really cute design. It has this like clear sleeve on it. And actually, I can't really flip through it, so I'll just show a little bit here and there. And then this is just a little information thing. But it's nice because then I can use it when I have it stored inside the plastic. But they have such a distinct art style. And I loved that there is on the first page a super long fold out of all of their characters from their series. Okay, I have to put my arm on the other side of the tripod. So of course I know this guy. I don't even remember what the series is called though, that he's in. And it's been a long time since I've read any of it, so I was happy to find out about this fan book, but then it's also a little reminder to go back and read more of it. But I do really like their art style, even though I don't know a lot of their guys. Okay, I just flipped through the color pages, and I think they're all safe. But such a treat to have these color illustrations. Oh. But then after the color pages, there are character profiles and bonus little extra chapters for several of the series. So but when I bought this book, I thought it was going to be like B5 sized, but this is the size of like typical Japanese manga volumes, so it's pretty small. I would have liked if it was bigger so that the art pages would be bigger, but not complaining because I'm just happy to have it since I didn't even know about it. Okay, next are the volumes of Danmei. And it's 4 volumes, but 3 series. And the first one is Volume 2 of Run Wild. I've been really excited to read more of this series since reading Volume 1, I think a month and a half ago. I did enjoy Volume 1, but it really felt by the end of the volume like I had just kind of gotten to know the characters. So now I'm excited to get into it a bit more and actually see more about the characters. So inside, this one has a color page of the front and back cover, as well as this one. And since this is a 7 Seas Danmei, there are illustrations through the volume. So I'm excited to read this one. I believe this series is going to be 6 volumes, so I don't know. I typically would just not read anymore and then wait till Volume 6 releases and binge it, but I don't want to be spoiled by people's reviews on Instagram, so I'm just going to read it so that I can stay up to date with each release. I really like this cover. The first volume was like really blue toned with silver. I think the spine was silver foil for the title. So I'm really excited for the Volume 3 cover. It's really pretty and the boys look really good in it. And I'm really eager to see the volumes 4, 5, and 6, what the illustrations will be like. I'm also really curious to see if the whole series is going to follow them in high school or if they're going to get into adulthood at all before the end of the story. But the series follows a high school boy who is kind of uprooted from his adoptive family and sent back to his birth father in a different city because his adoptive family doesn't want him anymore, even though he's been with them since he was a small child. And when he gets to his new home, his birth father is a slob. He is always gambling and drinking, and I felt for him so much when it kept describing the living conditions of his home and just how disgusting and smelly it was. But then he meets this other guy from his neighborhood and finds out that they go to school together. But really eager to see how their relationship develops, as Volume 1 did not really get into romance, but just kind of interacting with each other as they would run into each other. But definitely delinquent vibes, even though the main character is very smart. He is kind of rebellious, and then the other guy is definitely a delinquent. But again, just excited to see where the story goes with this volume. This next volume, Everyone Loves the Cannon Fodder, Volume 1, and this one is a Rosemary title. I've been really excited to read this one since I saw it on Yugibeen, and I just thought the cover was really cute, and the premise sounded kind of fun, like it might be right up my alley. I think this series is going to be 3 volumes. Let me check. Yeah, the series is going to be 3 volumes. So I'm looking forward to getting into it. I'm probably going to try to read it by the end of the year. But I love the design of the cover. the character designs are really cute. My copy didn't come with any extras because I didn't pre-order it, but I assume since Rosemary does this with... Oh, it did! You know what? I was just thinking when I was holding this book, I wish that I'd gotten extras because they're so cute. And I just completely forgot that I did get extras, but I tucked them inside. When I got these 3 books from Rosemary, I opened them right away because they were all wrapped, and I forgot that they had the extras on the outside. I don't know if I missed out on any of the extras because of not pre-ordering, or if I got one of the copies that had been a leftover from the pre-order stock, but I guess I got them. Sorry for overreacting. But this is so cute. A continuation of the cover just into a wider image. I think I'll really like this one. This is a print, but it's not like a bromide. It's like a paper print. And then a little chibi version. They're so cute. I'm really excited to read this. I'm curious what the vibe is going to be. This is the back cover of the book. I'm curious what the vibe is going to be like because the cover looks really cute, but then the premise has a bit of drama in it, though it is like a romance. So I'll go ahead and read the premise while you appreciate the cover illustration. So the high school main character is transported into a trashy Danmei web novel he was reading and finds himself in the body of the protagonist's childhood friend who is doomed to die of a terminal illness. Still, he is determined to save the protagonist from his tragic fate. But the protagonist is also going through a transmigration of his own. After the story ended, he awoke as his younger self with all of his memories intact and plans to make sure his enemies don't get the better of him this time, and also plans to pay more attention to his childhood friend who's suddenly developed a lot more confidence lately. So it says transmigration, and I think that's like the Danmei term for like isekai. I don't know, but I like that this is a modern day setting. I don't know if the main character like dies and that's why he's like transmigrated into the novel, or like what caused that. I guess I'll find out. But my favorite types of like isekai or like transmigration is whenever it has to do with like a video game, or in this case, a web novel. So I'm excited to read it and to see like their interactions. I feel like it's going to have a lot of little angsty moments, but then also I feel like I'll like the romance based on the premise. So I hope that I will enjoy this one. And then the next 2 books are from the series The Earth is Online, Volumes 1 and 2, another Rosemary title. And I'm not sure if I pre-ordered these or if I think I did pre-order these. So I'm excited to read them. I think that this series is in the category called Infinite Flow, which I guess has horror elements and then often has like death game situations. So I didn't know that when I pre-ordered it. I didn't know what that meant, what Infinite Flow meant, until I was reading Global Examination. So I hope that I'll like this one because I did enjoy Global Examination, but I am not a big horror reader at all. And I don't particularly like death games or like survival games, but I'm looking forward to reading this one. I feel a little silly that I overreacted in the talking about the last book because I did get extras for this one too, but at least I realized it so that I could share them. So this one I will also read the premise because I don't know what it is about about Danmei volumes, but like I will read a premise and be like, oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll get that and I'll read it. And then after ordering it, I will just like forget everything there is to do with the series. So these are the extras that came with volume 1. So yeah. And then volume 2. I'm glad that we have this art of a character because I really like when Danmei will provide like an illustration of the character so that I can kind of be assisted in visualizing what's going on and what the characters are going through. But like for volume 2, these are the illustrations in the front. And Rosemary usually doesn't do illustrations like through the volume, so I'm not expecting to get any more than this. But then these bits of art are the ones on the cover. So, but I'm assuming maybe there will be some gaming elements based on some of the art. Okay, but let me read the premise. In an alternate 2017, thousands of mysterious floating black towers spontaneously appeared across the globe. I guess those are the triangle things. These towers force humanity into an endless series of deadly games that are themed around everything from fairy tales to popular video games. Okay. The main character is a shrewd and independent young man who has become one of many unwilling contestants, and he soon meets with a fellow contestant, and they develop a partnership and seek to survive in this strange new world. Okay, so this series is going to be 8 volumes, so this is just the first quarter of it. Really curious what I'm going to think when I get to it, but I hope that I like it. So before I get into this last stack of books, I have 3 series left that I am going to go through. So Attack on Titan last, this whole pile of books, but then one lone merch item in this haul of many books. And it is from One Piece, this little acrylic standee of Sanji from Elbaph. He's so cute! So there is an artist that I follow on Instagram who I have collected some pins that they've designed. And they recently opened their shop and had some new Elbaph designs. And I keeps not focusing. And I loved this Sanji one. He's so cute. And it's such a tiny little, like he's like 1.5 inches tall. So happy to have him. It's just the mirrored image on the back, so his eyebrow's going the other way. So I have to make sure I keep him pointed the right direction. But so cute. Happy to have him. And in the timestamps in the description below, I'll put the artist's social media. And then this whole stack of books. So you probably already saw as I was pulling other books away, or if you've seen the thumbnail already, it is, I think, 10 omnibus volumes of Bleach. So with these volumes, I have it fully collected in my series now. So the past couple months, I've been getting the volumes trickling in. So the 15 volumes that are not these volumes, I've gotten over the past like 1.5 months, maybe 2 months. But I just finally got the last of these ones in, and I got all of them this week. So it feels a bit overwhelming to have just 10 omnibus volumes. So these are 3-in-1. So this is 30 volumes of Bleach that I'm getting in the mail this week. And I'm actually really excited to get them on my shelf though, because I did kind of recently redo my shelves and I left open 2 shelves for Bleach. So then when I was getting the early omnibus volumes, I just had like 2 entire empty shelves, and I just like put an omnibus volume and then I'd put the next omnibus volume. So now I'll be able to fill it out with these ones. But I'll just go through and show the covers and the back covers. I think it's like omnibus volume 10 through omnibus volume 21, because one of the middle volumes I got earlier. But if you haven't seen the Bleach omnibus volumes, they're super nice. I love how colorful they are, because the regular single volumes are just white and then the character images are like zoomed out. So in the omnibus volumes, they're zoomed in and have a colorful background. The spines are colorful. And then since they're 3-in-1s, the 2 illustrations that didn't make the cover are just featured here on the back. I love the bold colors on the volumes, kind of alternating between yellow, red, blue, black, and white. I love how they look on the shelf compared to the singles that are just white straight across. But I did just finish reading this series a month ago or 2 months ago. I binged it this spring on the Shonen Jump app, and I was able to read the end of the series from the physicals because I had gotten in, I think, the last 5 omnibus volumes before I finished the series. So the last 14 chapters I was able to, or not 14 chapters, 14 volumes I was able to read from the physicals. But I really, really enjoyed this read through. So my favorite characters in Bleach were Kenpachi and Renji. I also really liked Ichigo. And also really liked Kisuke. Though I wasn't sure about him at first because I knew there would be more to his character and like things weren't revealed about him until the series went on into the second half. But I loved his content in the last volumes when he finally shows his Bankai, and I just liked him as a character. I also really liked Yoruichi. She was just so cool. Ooh, this one was one of my favorite volumes that had the Kenpachi backstory. Like, it was really short, but like it was so good. And I loved the chapter with this character and kind of her role in his backstory. And then, of course, this one with Ichigo's backstory. Just such good storytelling, really exciting content. So now that I've read all of Bleach and I really enjoyed it, I am looking forward to watching the anime because I've seen a lot of clips, like on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and stuff, and it just looks so well done, and I really want to like hear the characters' voices. And I know that the anime isn't complete with the final arc yet, so I feel like it'll be exciting to be able to experience that as an anime watcher, even though I'm super late to the series. So we'll be looking forward to that. And now that we have all the physicals, my husband's going to be reading it soon. He's still reading Naruto right now, so I'm trying to be patient and not trying to like push him to hurry up so he can also read Bleach. But he usually prefers to read from physical volumes, so it worked out that I could read most of the series on Shonen Jump and then switch to physicals, and then now that we have them, he can read from the physicals. But these are all the books, and so now I'm going to get into this package, and I'm actually going to adjust my camera because it's like kind of high up, and I just want to change the angle a bit, so I'll be right back. Okay, time to get into this one. So it came in this box and then it was shipped inside another box, so I didn't have to worry about it being damaged in transit. I actually had watched a few unboxings before I ordered mine. I was excited when I saw the licensing announcement, but I wanted to wait and see it unboxed to see how everything looked before ordering one for myself because this was quite a pricey purchase. But this shows here what all is included. So Attack on Titan Fly, and this includes the Attack on Titan Fly art collection, which is the main reason I wanted this. Attack on Titan Volume 35, which is like a thinner booklet volume, so not like a regular sized volume. Premium art reproductions, so I think these are like manuscripts where it shows the panels before they're completed. And then Mikasa's scarf and Aaron's key and lock. So let's get into this. And disclaimer, I'm probably not going to do as nice of an unboxing as other people who have done it. So the one that I had watched before ordering mine was Anime Collective on YouTube. I really appreciate her content and the really informative unboxings and comparisons, but excited to have my own copy now. So okay. So Attack on Titan Fly, contents. So it just has little images of the things listed on the outside of the box. Ooh, 57 pages and an envelope. Okay. And then, okay, how to use the scarf. Okay, so here we go. So for the merch items, Mikasa scarf. So Aaron to Mikasa or Aaron to Mikasa. Honestly, I don't know why this is black and why this is embroidered on it. Like, I feel like it's a bit of a miss that they didn't make it red, but whatever. I'm not going to open this right now. And then Aaron's lock and key. So it's like kind of heavy. So I saw in other videos that this is actually like a working lock and it's like the old-fashioned style. I'm trying to hustle and get to the art book, so I'll set these here. I was really excited about this though because I have read the whole manga and I've watched the whole anime. Actually, now that I've said that, I haven't watched the final part of the anime. I did read it though, so when the final part of the anime released, I kind of just didn't want it to end, so I haven't watched it yet, but I binge watched the whole anime after it had already released through all of the seasons of the anime and before the first part of the final parts aired. So I watched all of that and I loved it, and then I read from where that left off to the end of the manga. And then I bought the Colossal editions and I read the whole series from start to finish. Then the first part of the final part released and I watched that, and then I haven't watched the final part yet. But so I'm excited to have new content, 35. So the manga series is through volume 34. But then this is pretty skinny. I was expecting it to be like a little booklet, so it's a little thicker than I expected. And then has the Japanese style cover illustration with the brown. I don't really want to flip through it because if anyone wants to enjoy it on their own. But yeah, it seems like, as you can see here with the black, that's the content of this volume. So it really is like a booklet, and then the rest of it is like sketches, which is fine. So I'm going to be going through this. I'm glad that it got an English release so that I don't have to use a translator. And yeah. But from what I've heard about it, it is like the story part in the beginning is following Levi and his backstory. So I am a fan of Levi's 2 volumes, No Regrets. So excited to get into that. Okay. Secret compartment underneath. Ah! This is so big! Okay. Attack on Titan art reproductions, final episode, Toward the Tree on That Hill. And then a sketch of Mikasa. And, okay. So this is empty, but it's kind of nice. It has a little, like, accordion style. Envelope so that it can fit. I didn't realize there were going to be so many pages, but I love this, all the little like protective like backer boards to just keep everything really safe. So okay, so the envelope really was like all the way to the edges of this box, and then the manuscripts. Oh my gosh, look how thick this is. Oh my gosh, there's so much in here, and they're huge too. Whoa. Okay, so I'm not going to open this right now. I'm sorry. Please watch someone else's unboxing video and accept my apology, but they're numbered. Wow. This is so cool. So I have bought manuscripts like this before. The ones that I've bought were from an exhibition I went to when we were in Japan. We went to the Kimi Todoke exhibition, and we bought a handful of the manuscripts, and they were big like this too, and just had some of the panels of really iconic scenes. But wow, to have the entire final chapter, that's crazy. And then a little container for it. I don't know though, that is like a hefty stack. This is kind of flimsy, but oh, I guess it does open like flat on the bottom, so it's probably fine. It's probably fine. And then this is what I came for. This is what I got this for. If this wasn't included, I wouldn't have bought this. I am a huge art book fan. I collect art books, and ooh, this is so big and heavy. Wow. But I really wanted this one because I do have the Attack on Titan anime art book, as well as 3 of the staff books, which have basically fan art from the staff of the anime. But wow, this is my biggest art book. I looked up the dimensions before I got it because I knew it was going to be this big. I'll put on the screen what the dimensions are, but it's bigger than like the One Piece Color Walk Compendiums and the Haikyuu art book, the Demon Slayer art book. It's bigger than those ones, so it's the next size up. But I love the touch that they made this really gorgeous slipcase. So this entire blue art here is the slipcase that holds the art book. So then the art book has that extra protection. Ah! Okay, so I haven't even looked in the art book yet, but super nice quality. Well done, Kodansha. So I guess this is the back cover with Erwin, Hanji, and Levi. And then, oh, the spine doesn't say anything. It just has Aaron and Armin's hair. And then the front of the art book doesn't have the title either, but it's fine. It just has this art of them. And I'm trying to think of how to, I don't know. This is not going to be a very good flip through, so sorry in advance. Actually, maybe if I close the box. because it's clean, because this was inside another box. Okay. Ooh, there we go. So I won't flip through every page. I'm sure that there's going to be a flip through out there on the internet. I'll just kind of go through it a little bit. But the binding, it's like a sewn binding. It feels really secure. The paper quality is really nice. It's thick paper. The print looks nice too. Very vibrant. So it's cool to have some of the panels in color. I don't collect the color. I forget what they're called. The hardcover Attack on Titan releases that have kind of like selected chapters that were printed in color. I think some of these are covers though. I'm not super familiar with the volume covers because I own the colossal editions. I don't own the singles. So I appreciate that I'm able to have these with the art book release in like huge format too. This is funny. Love Mikasa. Okay, you know what? I'm like a third through. I'll just keep going. So lots of art. Gorgeous. I think all the covers are in here, so some sketches too. I think these were like little things that were extras, so having them as like huge art in this collection is pretty neat. Love this one. Levi's so cool. So my favorite characters, I always kind of go back and forth between Eren and Levi, and then I also really like Erwin. And of course I like Mikasa and Hanji, but Levi and Erwin are my favorites. And then this trio is just really special. I have on my shelf, I thought it was in frame, but I forgot I moved the camera. But I have Levi, Erwin, and Mikasa and Eren's Nendoroids, and then I have some different art on display, an official art of the trio, and then some fan art of Erwin, Hanji, and Levi as a trio. And I have some more fan art in storage, but this is a favorite series of mine. I don't really talk about it a lot because I just get super into it when I'm watching the anime or reading the manga, but really glad Kodansha released this art book, because there are other art books that have had super nice releases in Japan that we haven't gotten in English, like the Bleach art books, the Jet release of the 2 hardcover art books that came in a slipcase and covered all of the cover illustrations from the manga. And I really want that one, so I hope we'll get it, but that one's a license that Viz would need to announce, and this is Kodansha, so I don't know. This is one of my favorite covers, Eren. And actually, I wasn't paying attention as I was flipping through, but my other favorite cover is this one. This one's my favorite cover. I can't believe I have this art just like huge on this piece of paper. But like I said, I have the Colossal editions, and I love the new art on all the covers of the Titans. This art. And I'm so curious, like I really feel like Attack on Titan is gonna get some kind of anniversary release at some point and have like a new deluxe edition or something, but I know that it's had the single releases, the box set releases, the hardcover 3-in-1s, and then the 5-in-1 Colossal editions. I really wish that the 5-in-1s had a sewn binding though rather than glue binding, because they would just be a bit more secure other than the cover illustration. Okay. Oh, again, is this an interview? Wow, lots of exciting content. How nice that we got it in English. And that's it. So I predominantly wanted to get this for the art book and the volume 35. Sorry, Armin. But then also the scarf and lock. And then the super nice slipcase. And then the manuscripts. It was so crazy to me. But hope that helped if you've been on the fence about purchasing this. There have been some deals with some sites, as well as some sites that offer box set discounts. So definitely shop around and look for the best deal. But I definitely think that it was worth the price because this is a gorgeous release and I'm really happy to have it now. But this is everything. My exciting new Attack on Titan addition to my collection, completing Bleach, 3 new Danmei series that I'm excited to get into, actually 2 new series and 1 continuing series. And then a few new titles into my collection, A Man and His Cat, Sheltering Eaves, My New Boss is Goofy. So lots of really exciting mail this week. I can't believe that just day after day this week, I've been having huge packages coming in with all this exciting stuff. So hope you enjoyed watching me go through all of this stuff. And maybe if there's anything new that I got that you haven't read yet, maybe you can check it out too if you're interested. I'm really excited about Everyone Loves the Canon Fodder. I hope I like that one a lot. But that's all for this haul, and I'll see you again soon in another video. Thanks for watching.